Okay, well, I'm recording to the cloud right now in case anybody is wondering. So we're on a recording. What we do is we take these tech spotlights and we record them so that they're on our YouTube channel for the OSL. Plus, we put them up for different students on the Peer Mentor Discord channels. So just so you know where you're going to show up.
Okay, that's good to know. Good.
All right. Oh, there's Angela too. All right.
Late, I had a client.
It's all right. That's called busy.
All good.
It's all good. Yeah.
Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Ange.
Well, I figured it'd be good to have both of you with us today for Tech Spotlight here, because you deal with kind of different sides of an important question for students and for faculty and staff. And that is kind of being aware not only of your physical body, but also your emotions and your makeup a little bit, and how that can be a very healthy prospect and a pattern for you. So I figured between the two of you, you'd have a good time bouncing back and forth. So
Let's hope.
I know your buds and everything, so you guys will have fun. But so who wants to go first? Tell us about what you do here. Okay, that's the first question. Okay.
Okay, sure. I'll go ahead and go first.
Awesome.
So I am the director of physical recreation. That's the name of the department, physical recreation. We're actually looking to change the name. Some things that are floating now are sports and rec. There's also, for the physical building, possibly mind and body center, especially if we do get a new center. That's what President Wells and others are looking to name it. So what that means in my job, I oversee all of the recreation and sports, competitive and non-competitive sports in the facility, as well as I manage the fitness center. We actually have a nice fitness center. And last year at this time, when everything shut down due to the pandemic, we actually took advantage of this time and we renovated. We did major renovations in the weight room. Now, for those who used to frequent the weight room, there was a small bouldering cave, and it literally was a little cave in one of the rooms.
Exactly what it felt like.
So during our closure and over the summer, we cleared that out. We emptied that room and made it what we call now is our high performance room. And everybody can use it. However, our competitive sport clubs, primarily, they get to reserve that. And who that is our men's and women's rugby, our barbell athletic club. Those two sports primarily use that facility. They reserve it. But like I said, anybody can use it.
Sure.
Anyhow, we built a new bouldering wall in one of the racquetball courts, and it is beautiful. So we did a lot. We took advantage of the closure and we were able to renovate and create more recreational tools for the students and for everyone really in the community. And that's what I do. That's what I manage. That's what I run. On my spare time,
Yeah.
I also teach classes. That's my passion, to be honest with you. I've been a teacher for about 24 years now, and I teach fitness classes and I teach yoga classes primarily, and that's through community education. So right now during the pandemic, I've kept up with yoga, and we do a Zoom yoga. I did do a fitness class called Boot Camp via Zoom, but I haven't for the last couple of semesters. But anyway, those are the two classes that I absolutely love and do. And I also, funny enough, I'm a personal trainer, and I have been a personal trainer for about 20 years as well. And so again, spare time, I train individuals. I train primarily right now a lot of faculty and staff members. I actually have a couple of students that I'm training, and I would say a couple of community members. So yeah,
Cool.
I love the fitness and body aspect of it. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I remember, of course, you talking to new people when we were coming in. It's been years now for me, but the idea of doing stretching, of breathing, of of moving, of kind of taking some attention to to a person's self when they were maybe in the midst of all sorts of meetings and they finally get a break, how to back away from some of the stress they had, things like that. So I'm imagining you do a lot of that. So a lot of physical kinetic types of things. Angela can tell us about her work, and I think hers is in a very mental, emotional, and spiritual type of state with talking with people. So go ahead, Angela.
My name is Angela Gautier, and I am the Director of Counseling Services here at Tech. Formerly, we had Disability Services joined with us, but it just didn't make sense as to why we were together. So that is a separate entity now over in, in Brown. But here at the Counseling Center, we offer individual counseling, couples counseling. We offer safety risk assessments, safety planning. We do consultations, and we do outreach and programming. So we do workshops at least one a month. And I know that might be news to people, but we just did one a couple of weeks ago, the beginning, maybe it was last week, for test anxiety.
I was going to say, I thought it was close. Yeah,
Yes,
because
it
I saw
was.
the info.
I don't remember yesterday, so it's every day. It's tough sometimes. And in February, we did a healthy relationship workshop. And then coming in April, we're going to be doing an allyship workshop, how to be better allies for staff and faculty and students on campus. And so that's going to be coming up. So we do one every month. And what we've been doing is, again, during COVID, we took that time to look at our website and really revamp our website. Our website has so many things on it. It has a main page where people can sign up as a new client or a returning client. You just have to fill it out online. It gets sent to us, and we respond within 24 business hours. And then we have links for sexual health, for healthy relationships, for grief and loss, how to deal with and manage stress and anxiety, how to deal with and manage depression. And we also have a meditation and yoga site. And so we have a lot of resources to kind of get people started in looking into things, and whether they come to see us or not. And we also took that time to kind of adjust to the idea of no in-person sessions, which is very difficult. As a therapist, we're used to doing in person, but people are actually doing okay with the Zoom meetings that we have. When it's nice out, and if people want, I offer walking sessions. So that way we can get outside. Some people think that just because they're with me that people are going to assume that we're doing a session, but I do know people outside of counseling. And so making the assumption that whoever is with me is necessarily in a counseling session is not necessarily, always the case. But I offer that. And if people want to bring their dog along, I think that's great. But I offer
dog therapy is a very good thing.
Exactly. And, who doesn't love to spend time with a dog, And so we've been trying to kind of amend what we do in order to meet needs, as well as be safe. And because that's really, really important. And so we're not exactly sure how the future is going to look specifically. But again, when the weather gets warmer, we're going to be much more open to going outside. And again, what does that mean for you? Does that mean sitting at a picnic table and having a session? Or does that mean walking a dog? What is it that you want in order to be able to have that face-to-face interaction? Because it is really, really important. But again, the whole safety issue. So we've been trying to make sure that everyone has, something that they feel is like, yeah, this is the mode. I'm feeling comfortable with this. We actually this semester have an intern named Heidi. She is about my age, which means she's a nice, mature woman. And she is just needing hours to get her licensure. But she's been doing therapy for a while. She does therapy on Thursdays and Fridays with clients, and she's absolutely loving it, which is great. But it kind of offers a little bit more flexibility in terms of the amount of people, because even though We usually can get busy in the fall. We were really booked full in the fall. And then in the beginning of the semester, it seems like we are getting at least 2 or 3 new intakes every week. And we're continuing to get that. We actually got 3 intakes today alone. So we have a lot of clients seeking support, and it's absolutely understandable during this time where you need to figure out, I can't do what I normally do to get by and to feel good. So what can I do? And, you know, and sometimes it's nice just to have someone to hear and validate and say, wow, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly how you should be feeling. You are normal. There's
I was
nothing.
going to say, you're not abnormal, you're normal.
Right. And there's nothing crazy or weird about you. And we do offer a lot of support to students who are just feeling stressed out about their academics. You know, it doesn't have to be a mental disorder for anyone to come to counseling. And I know that there's still stigma, and we're trying to work around that and to support people. But again, we're finding that people are still reaching out to us. So again, send them on in. We definitely want to support them and see what we can do to help. And the thing I love about the rec department is that, you know, especially for anxiety, stress, and depression, working out and physical activity is such a great way to counter that. And it's actually one of the staples of treatment for any of those disorders. You know, go out, get physical, be outside. Just out being outside in the sun for a walk can really change your mood. It can kind of take you away from wherever you were in some stressful situation. So Melissa's program and our program really works well, because I'm always saying, hey, just go to the gym. You don't, and you know, if you need someone to walk you through it, go ask someone, hey, can you show me how to use this? Can, you know, help me how to do that? And I know it's really intimidating, but we get a lot of positive feedback for people who actually take us up on it. And I have to say, I am personally very sad that Melissa is not doing her boot camp, because I am one of those avid participants. I have been, ever since I found it, since I came to Socorro, that has been my staple. Every single semester it's offered. So I'm waiting for that to come back.
Let's vote for that. Okay, it's very important. You know, I'm thinking, even with us over at the library and the OSL, we deal with a lot of people who are trying to express their feelings or their issues, but they're really truly kind of shut down with the low touch type of environment that's present here. I know Katie's on today right now listening too, but for us, we deal with students who maybe are frightened to be in an OSL type of setting, even tutorially, for stigmas. Okay, so I think stigmas are big things as students come to you know, a place like New Mexico Tech. Not only are they maybe out of their element from what they grew up in, but they also are dealing with just the consciousness of the community. Oh, you need help. For us at the library, that's what we would call normal. Of course you need help. OSL, of course you need help. Counseling, of course you need help. It's all right. And the gym as well. So I had been asking Melissa a little bit about some of the combinations between kinetics and talking through things a little bit, just as you were coming on. And I sense that some of the mental things here are very powerful as students come in, and both of your programs assist them a great deal. So thank you for that. And do you have new ideas as things are going on? I mean, I'll admit my age now. John Naismith wrote a book called Megatrends back in the 1980s. And one of the things he talked about was that when you went high tech, you had to have high touch. So I'm not sure how we deal with that, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic going on. I don't know if you have thought about that a little bit in either of your programming for some specific or intentional actions. I know you've mentioned some of that a little bit, but could you go maybe a little deeper on that? Either of you can talk now.
Well, we normally suggest, we a lot of times we are finding that even people who are introverts are finding that they need some sort of physical or social connection in order to kind of recharge their battery. And it's about finding safe ways to do that. And it's about brainstorming. What are things that you used to do? What are some things that really do recharge your battery? And let's find other alternatives. And sometimes, you know, we're not going to find an exact match, but it's about, okay, go out for a walk, and you can go outside and walk with someone with a mask, and you're okay doing that. You know, face forward, make sure that you're not necessarily turning your head, keep your masks on, and you can have that social interaction. But it's about actually reminding people and getting them aware that, hey, that still is an option. And how do I do that? Because a lot of times they're waiting for someone else to make the first move. And it's about, hey, just send out an email. And I know that normally, what I would normally tell people in terms of the freshmen coming in and meeting people is, oh, do you have a study group? And it's really hard on Zoom to see how study groups are getting going and how that's working, and being like, well, why don't you just go to the professor and have them throw it out? Well, I can't. Well, who's going to, you know? And it's just as easy as an email. But you're right, a lot of students are, you know, they get worried about that stigma about what does it look like if I'm the one who's kind of doing something not like everybody else. And I throw out there, well, when someone does something that you see that isn't like everybody else, what do you think about it? And most of the times they're like, I don't really think anything. Well, that's exactly right. No one's thinking about you when you're doing it. It's exactly the same thing. You know, no one's thinking that anyone is standing out in any positive or negative way. They're just like, oh, that's someone doing their thing. Okay. But it just seems like people get really scared. And so it's about talking them through that. How do you get to that point of, hey, you know, let's get together and get a study group going, even if we're in different rooms, and maybe we can go and take a break and go for a walk in about, you know, an hour or so. Just reminding them. And it's hard. It really is hard, because even I struggle with trying to figure out, how do I get that recharge when normally it would just be so easy. We don't even think about it. But now COVID's made us more cognizant and more aware of, wow, what we really need, what we really are missing out on, and what we appreciate too.
What community is all about, let's say, in different definitions, okay, or different reflections. Melissa, what about you on all that concept?
So what we're doing, well, before the pandemic, I was offering like every 2 weeks, every other week, outdoor hiking. And that got people out and about. A lot of people who just didn't know the area, one, that didn't know the area, two, maybe didn't have a vehicle to actually get somewhere. So we were offering that. And these are small groups to begin with. So now that Socorro's in the green, or New Mexico, or Socorro, I guess, is in the green.
Socorro County is in the green, according to Michael.
I am going to start offering outdoor hikes once again. Now, I actually have a couple of people who want to assist, which means we can have more groups, even keep it at 10 people if we wanted to, if that feels more comfortable for people. And we can actually have it every weekend if we wanted to. So that's something that we're definitely trying to push or get going. And that'll happen really in the near future, possibly 2 more weeks.
Love it.
For Women's History Month, I've offered a couple of just 30-minute, or 40-minute walk around campus. Again, to get people out, take a little break, walk with some other people. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but at least you're with somebody. And the first one was, I think last week, we had about 10 people. The next noon walk is next Thursday. And we meet just outside the gym by 12:10 is when we take off. Again, we just go around campus, or we go up the golf course, just somewhere close to campus. And it's 40 minutes. If people need to leave early, well, then they leave early. So, you know.
But they can choose what parts of it they want to do.
This walking is huge, just getting outside. If you take that first step, then the person, you realize, wow, I actually needed that. One, the sun is just fantastic. It just lifts you up.
Wonderful.
Two, you are with other people. That just does, especially if the energy of the other people are vibrating high. Yeah, you're going to get that too. I'm working with Sandy in the alumni office, Sandy Lucero, and we are doing a 100-mile challenge.
Oh, cool.
It starts April 1st, and ends May 31st. So there's 2 months.
Ooh.
And if you calculate that, that's 1.63 miles a day. That's it.
Okay.
You know, so we're putting that out there. That's advertised on my website. That's advertised on the advancement website, and it's going to go
Cool.
on the Weekly Minor this coming week. So, and there's prizes for students at the end, and it's real simple. You just register by emailing Sandy Lucero, and then you just have to upload. You know, you have to some type of tracker, whatever tracker you're using.
Whatever it is, it's monitoring your
Exactly. So that they know that you're actually doing it. But again, that's another way we're trying to get people out. This is the time. And an accountability buddy, you know, that's what we're also pushing. Get a friend to join you. And now you two are held accountable. Accountability buddies really work for a lot of people.
Yes.
So that's one
Now,
thing.
would a Fitbit type of thing be one of the ways you could market?
So I don't know. I've never had a Fitbit. If you can mark your walk, then yes.
I've seen things on, like I've seen friends on Facebook or other things, like who will, like for bike rides, I've got a bike. And so I've used to bike a lot. The friends I have, they'll say, this was my bike ride, and it monitors the whole thing. It tells you what their route was and therefore how much it was, like 1.5 miles or 6 miles if it was biking, or 10 miles or whatever.
Exactly. And on the website, Sandy gives a couple of examples for apps. You can just free apps for your phone, and then you just push start, and boom, it'll track you. You know, it's another thing.
I've seen things, crazy things on Facebook. Of course, Facebook is this, my age group, I guess. But the idea that you could walk Hadrian's Wall, or you could walk the pilgrimage path in Spain, a certain amount of miles, or you could do these things. And I think some of that, it really is helpful in that nobody can go to these places right now, but you can imagine that maybe you're doing it. You can think about it. You can even read about certain spots along the way. It's I found that to be engaging, just because I'm an old travel idiot type of thing. But I love to travel, and I love that. And what would you do at a certain spot? And these things. And so again, it's trying to incorporate what we were used to anyway into what we can do now. So yeah, the issue, I think, of isolation is a big one. It really is. I think the accountability buddy helps that way, from what you're talking about. And I think from what Angela was talking about, having people that you can connect with, particularly in a kind of a longer term type of conversation, whether it be the therapy walk or whatever, those things are very helpful. Katie and Sophia are here, who work over at the OSL, and they I think are coming up with ways of trying to do group work, at least on the Discord channel with tutors, so you can have kind of a drop-in room rather than just a singular tutor, and try to get back to that, because there's a lot of people who lament that they can't come to the library right now, because they were used to all gathering in the OSL area and just doing their homework. And then if somebody really had a problem, there was always a tutor around. See, and that's a sadness I have for them as well. Just that whole sense of cooperation and collaborative type of education. So.
Yeah, it's difficult to find things. And so when I saw that you were doing those walks, Melissa, I was like, that is wonderful, because I think that it gets people who don't know each other to kind of be like, oh, hey, and it puts them together in a way they might not have before, and especially now during COVID. So I was really excited about that. And another thing I saw on the Miners Blast was the hiking challenge, the New Mexico hiking challenge.
Oh, right.
I was just talking to one of the clients who is doing that, and I was like, how exciting. You go, you do the walk or the hike, you take pictures, and I'm just like, I think that's wonderful, getting people engaged and getting them outdoors, and hopefully, bumping into each other at some point, I think is great. And I think, it was really difficult for me to try and figure out, well, how do you start things like this? How do you create it on your own? I don't know, so it's nice to see that other people have been thinking about this and trying ways in their own department to be able to address that, because let me tell you, it's hard sometimes in sessions coming up with ideas for people, but for the most part, we can find something. It's just COVID has just hit everybody really hard. And I think we all realized how social we really, truly are.
Yes. Katie or Megan or Sophie, I know you're off on the side here. You got any questions you might want to ask these two great people for ideas and concepts that you'd like to discuss? I'm opening it up to you.
Yeah, I've got a question. So I know something at the OSL that we've been dealing with is sometimes students are reluctant to reach out for help or and I find it in myself, especially, times are challenging, people are busy. It's kind of hard to want to make yourself do something or reach out for help, even if you know that it's good for you. So do y'all have any motivational strategies or anything that you talk to the students about to encourage them to reach out for help or to, start living a healthier lifestyle for their mental and physical health?
That's a tough one, because by the time I am talking to someone, they've already made that, walk that obstacle. They've already kind of gone past that. But I always tell people to encourage, I said, if someone's nervous, have them email me and I can just answer a couple of their questions if they're nervous, and then see if they feel a little bit more comfortable. And then maybe it's a phone call, or maybe it's just like a quick Zoom, meet and greet kind of thing. Like, I'm very open to anything that's going to make anybody else more comfortable. And sometimes if you put it in not a counseling session, but if they have any, a Q&A, have them ask, but again, it's about having people make that first step. And that's really hard, even for all of us. So Melissa, what about you? Because I know working out is one of those things. It's really tough if you haven't done it to make that habit, so how do you encourage people?
Your goal has to be strong enough to
Mhm.
keep you going, plain and simple. So it's about finding these goals that will keep you there. I want to lose weight. That's not a strong enough goal. It
Right,
just,
it's so general.
it is, it's too general, let's be more specific. And what I do with some of my clients, especially the ones that come back, I don't know if I want to continue doing this. Then we dig a little deeper. Okay, so what was your reason for coming to me? And then I want to lose weight. Okay, so why do you want to lose weight? Well, I want to fit better into my jeans. Why do you want to fit better into your jeans? Well, so that I can feel better about my body. Why do you want to feel better about your body? Well, last year somebody said something negative to me, so I want more, I want self-empowerment, whatever. Why do you want self-empowerment? We do the why, and then we get to the underlying goal, and that's the goal. And I keep reminding them, this is your main goal. Why you want to come here? Why you're gonna, sweat for an hour,
Right.
3 to 4 times a week, and it's like, yeah, that's right. And what I do, this is what I do for me. When there are some things where I'm like, I really don't want to, I have it everywhere so I can see my major goal. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is my major goal. I can't not do whatever, I didn't want to do. I have it in my face everywhere. Wherever I go, my bathroom mirror, it's there. On the refrigerator, it's there. When I'm driving, it's there, because it's a reminder. This goal is strong. This is why I really want to do this. So I'm going to keep doing it. And then it takes, a month. For different people, it takes a month to even 2 months to form that habit.
Yes.
But that's the main thing that I've really come across, one for me and for some of my clients. And when their goal is lofty, they'll go for 2 months and then boom. And that's the number one thing that I've found. Yeah.
And I have to say that accountability, like you said, Melissa, is finding that person that you're accountable to and just to throw myself out there under the bus, you know, Melissa is my personal trainer, and she's like, gave me this thing of, here, you're going to work out 3 times a week. And I was like, I had no plans of working out 3 times a week, but I'm accountable. I want to make sure, you know, that when I see her again, I'm like, I have worked out. And so I have. I've worked out 3 times a week since she's assigned me. And so it's really important. So, hey, a workout, you know, not even just, you know, workout buddy that you're doing the same workout, but someone that you just meet at the gym. You know, I suggest people, hey, you know, just ask your friend to go on a walk, just meet you. You don't even have to go for a really long walk. And again, once you get accountable and you start doing that, it makes it a lot easier. But so for me, accountability, yes, is a big thing. And you're right, when it's right there in your face, you can't, you know, kind of turn your eyes. It's like, no, that's what I want. How badly do you want it? I'm going to remind you how badly you want it. And that person's going to say, hey, you told me that you'd be here. We both want this, right? And it kind of helps both of them. So that's kind of my secret, is for personally, is the accountability. It's huge. So I can't underscore that enough.
Yeah, those are awesome tips. And I'm curious too, and sort of semi-related to the whole like going on walks and going outside for your mental health and physical health. Like, what are y'all's favorite places to walk or favorite trails around the area?
Oh yeah. One campus is just gorgeous, and it's 1.3 miles. For instance, let's say you start at Brown Hall and you go all the way around. It's about 1.3, 1.25 miles. So there you go. You know, you have your goal there. Yes, after in the evenings, like after work, it's pretty busy. So one of my favorites is the ditch bank, just by the golf course. So I'll walk up the golf course hill by the golf shop, go back by facilities, and then walk that by Escorn and all the way down. Now that one is fabulous. You get your views of the M on one side and then Socorro on the other side. Just beautiful rolling hills. You know, we're high desert. I love it. And especially come evening, it's a great time when the sun is setting. You have these beautiful colors in the sky. So this is one thing that I do for my mental health. I pay attention, and I appreciation, gratitude, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to bring about more and more. So I'm walking and I look at clouds, and I look at, you know, what figure is that cloud, you know, or I really dig deep to appreciate as even the tiniest little rock to the leaf that is there. And I have to tell you, this is a new practice of mine, and I've been doing this since the pandemic. I have to, you know, I had to find something, and this has kept me just motivated, really, and happy, and not falling into a deep depression. Finding the little things in life that really mean, you know, and again, it's a practice. It is a practice. But once you have that, you're going to be more aware, actually, of the beautiful things around you, you know? Yeah. And the birds in the evening, oh my goodness, you know, it's just so wonderful. Anyway, yeah, so that's one of my favorite places to walk.
And the whole idea of an attitude of gratitude, normally if I have clients who don't necessarily like to journal, because that's not everybody's thing, I'll say, how about a gratitude journal at night? You just have to list 5 things at night that you were grateful for that day. And I say, it's okay if it's a stretch. I said, you know, back in my 20s when I was, you know, depressed and struggling, you know, I had 2 dogs, and someday I would say, hey, my dogs are my great thing. And then one day I'd have to name each of my dogs, you know, so I'm like, sometimes you have to stretch it a bit, but you're absolutely right. Finding something to be grateful for. And it's a challenge for some people. It's easy to do. It's simple. I should say it's simple. It's not easy, because some people have to really get into that, and some people take to it and some people do not. But it really is one of those very simple, free things that you can do that does, after time, when it becomes a habit, you know, sparks up your mental health. And again, you do start becoming aware of things and seeing them. And it's all about, your mental health is all about your perspective, right? If I think that my life sucks, my life sucks. But if I think that I have hope and there's something wonderful there, despite all the bad things going on, that's my perception, that's my reality. So it's about finding things that you actually can appreciate every single day, to realize that not every day was a wasted day. And for me, I walk my dog every day after work, and I usually walk by the arroyo, down the arroyo over by the middle school. And well, that's usually where we go running. And it's just funny because I love to do that, because after a while, I'll take my dog off the leash when the arroyo is, compact enough that he can't walk away anywhere. And he just does his own thing, and he makes me laugh. And, so again, just small things. And the arroyo is great because it's a nice, not worried about snakes. It's a nice place. It's beautiful. It's fairly open, so you're not walking into brush or anything. And the sky is just amazing in the evening. It's just amazing. Melissa is absolutely right. Sometimes you just get these sunsets that are just so breathtaking that you have to kind of stop. And even people who aren't necessarily taking that time to be aware and mindful are just like, wow, I mean, how can you pass through that and just not notice, So I absolutely agree with what she says. And I think I've been up to that area to walk once or twice on a guided walk, but I don't think I've ever done it on my own. So that sounds actually like a good thing for a challenge. I like that.
Yeah. It's a nice area. It's flat. So that's, appealing to a lot of people as well. So.
Very much so. I know, did we
It's accessible and easy to get to.
Yeah, thank you. You're totally right about just stopping, and there's so many things, so many beautiful things here to appreciate, and definitely the sunsets is a highlight, and the birds, of course. There's so many birds here, and it's just beautiful. Like I've seen owls on campus in flight. It's incredible.
Don't see it that often, but you're absolutely right. I was thinking that when she said the birds, and I even appreciate watching those little partridge families just run across the street, like just very
There they
simple.
go. Yeah, there was a couple of owls in the tree, living around in the tree just on the south end of Kramer, I know, for a while.
Yep.
And that was always kind of funky. If you'd look up there and you'd see them, and you go, wow, there's plenty of birds around. I'm an old birder, so and I try to create a lawn and a garden that they like for food and things like that. But it's one of my introvert things, I guess. But the birds are nice. I like the birds. It's no question. So.
Yeah, I mean, they add so much beauty in the song too, Yeah, as a matter of fact, my partner just did that. I'm looking out in my backyard. He put up a lot of feeders, and now, my goodness, I thought we had a lot of birds before. Oh, it's really nice.
Cool.
Yes, awesome, very good. But the whole point is to get out, go for a walk. Have someone help you accountable, meet them, say, I'm going to meet you at this time. So that way you have to take a break from your schoolwork. You have to get up and just do it. It's really beneficial, and it's small, and it's free, and it's simple. Again, not easy, because I know how hard it is to get yourself motivated to change. I have difficulty with transitions, stopping here and then doing something else. So it's difficult. So I understand, but small steps, you can do them.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to ask you about students that are going to come to New Mexico Tech in the fall, just because this recording will be on a channel that they will be able to access. And as both of you are looking at your programs as you're moving to the fall, I know we're still a little iffy, okay? So we're not quite sure what things will happen. And sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves because we're so chomping on the bit to get going. But how do you see your program developing in the fall with maybe some less protocols, but some other protocols in mind? Where do you see yourself moving your programs with a little more openness for interaction?
Well, for us, actually, we have approval from the Department of Health, the governor, and the higher education for our sport clubs to go back to full practice. Sure, we have a COVID safety plan. And for the contact sports, they have to get tested 3 times a week. Now, for those members, they don't mind because they're like, we're back to normal. So they don't mind getting their tests 3 days a week. So to be honest with you, we're almost back. All the others that are non-contact, got to wear your masks, but at this point, I think most of us are pretty used to that. And for instance, our volleyball club, they're in there 3 days a week playing volleyball.
Cool.
That's social. In the volleyball club in particular, that's more of a social club, and I'm happy. They have practices, they invite people to come and join, they teach them, and that's what they do. So I love that. Same with badminton. Same thing with badminton. So we actually are doing pretty well. And since July, the weight room, our fitness facility has been open at 25%, but we've been able to we've made it work. Now we're at 50%. So great. So I think the main thing would be for our showers. We haven't had showers. So I think a lot of people, I don't know if this is going to affect many students if they live on campus. They're just going to go to their to their room and shower. But for faculty and staff, that was the main thing. So hopefully our showers will be open. And but yeah, more hiking, like I said, maybe larger groups. But again, I'm starting that in the next couple of weeks. So.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking what you're talking about though too is that there will still be COVID-19 protocols that will assist the safety of people to be able to engage, and that's I think really essential for people to know that there's going to be ways to do it.
Yes.
And they have, part of it is a cooperative community type of a thing that you're doing this for the sake of other people you're around plus yourself.
Yes.
And more of that ethic that is, I think, essential for community building anyway. So,
yes.
Yeah. Angela, you got anything to add as you think maybe things open up a little more? Or?
I think that I really do like the idea of walking sessions. I think that is something that I used to do in private practice years ago in Massachusetts, and people used to really like that. Not everybody, but that I think that it's just another way of having, a session without someone feeling so on the spot. And I just think it opens up another avenue of, hey, walking meditations, just getting out and walking in general. And so I like that idea. I'm wondering that if our intern is still here and still wanting to get hours next semester, thinking about potentially seeing what it might be like, not necessarily to have like groups, like processing groups, like working on depression, but maybe psychoeducational groups. That way we can educate people. Hey, you are suffering from anxiety or depression. Here's some things. Oh, but let's have, other people who may not be experiencing this themselves to open it up to be less stressful for people to attend, to get the message out. But again, the whole idea of getting people engaged and, realizing that we're all here just to learn and to do better and be better as human beings. And this is just one way to do that. And I know when people hear counseling, they get kind of weirded out, but maybe we will be able to kind of open up. But that's been the thought of keeping the walking sessions, maybe doing more of them. And again, trying to see how we can get people engaged and interact a little bit more, potentially through psychoeducational groups, not necessarily processing groups.
Yeah.
So that's a thought.
I'm wondering about, I would like to put one together actually, but I don't have the land for it, to have a labyrinth.
Ooh, nice.
And that's more individual, I will admit, but the idea being is that you take a journey when you're on your labyrinth rock. It's that whole concept again of journey, of processing, and all of a sudden you're going straight, and also you do curve. What's that do to you when you're just kind of trying to meditate a little bit? Right. And so I've thought of that too, because they're easy enough to make. You get a pattern, you go out and do it. But that might be something
Well, had
Uh,
I known, I would have put that in the grant I just submitted in February. What a great idea. I love that.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people, of course, acquaint spiritual things with labyrinths, but I think it's the whole process of movement
Mhm.
as well as shifted movement as something where in some ways you sense by doing this pattern that you're following a pattern somewhere within you. And what does that mean?
Mm.
And all of a sudden you're getting keys to, oh, I was thinking about that then, wasn't I? Or how's that one working? And so I was just thinking a labyrinth somewhere. That would just be fun, just because it's a great practice. But it's certainly a good calming practice, I think, for many people. And yeah, and again, I'd do it outdoors if you could, because it allows for the open air, doesn't cause a problem for contained space, things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. But I think anything that gets people moving in general is good. Anything that gets people thinking. And then again, becoming aware of what comes into your thoughts when you're doing something and why and what does that mean. I think anything for self-reflection is always good.
Prompts, yeah, certain prompts that come and they are unbidden, but there they are, so then you deal with it. See, and I think there's so much power in this, in the unconscious and the underlying things within us, that
Right.
to get a pattern that actually brings that out is very important. So sorry, I'm into those things. Sophie or Megan, you got something you want to comment on? I know it's okay to lurk. Don't worry about it. I'm just seeing if you guys have any questions you might want to interact with.
Um, I'm with the alumni office. This is Megan, and I am here just to really learn what you all have been doing during COVID and how you've been helping students. And I appreciate all of the information. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, our alumni really, really care about how the students are doing right now and how they've been over the past semester. And so to gain some insight on that has been really helpful. And so I appreciate it. No
Excellent.
specific question for me though.
That's okay. Glad to get a comment. That's all right. So
Yeah, we had a lot of virtual activities, like our running club started a virtual competition and we gave prizes to the people who we actually just participated. And we started that last May. We did a virtual run over the summer competition. Our biking club did the same. It was either road riding or mountain biking, and they set challenges each week. And we did that for a good 2 months, I believe. And yeah, so that helped a lot. And the barbell club did the same. If people, I mean, gyms weren't open at that time, so they had to be creative, and they had to come up with their own workouts and post that. So you think outside the box, man, you can come up with a lot of different activities.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Well, I've definitely seen all of the stuff going on, and hey, it's just made people more creative, right? So thank you both for everything you've been doing.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Sophie, do you got anything you want to interject? You're newer to the area, but
I am, yeah.
what's up?
No, I don't think I have any questions. This has just been really helpful and informative to listen to. I especially like what you're saying about setting goals for yourself for working out and everything, because that's never really been something that I've been super routine about, and it's been hard to get myself motivated in the past. So that was really helpful to hear, and to hear about the walking group and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that walking group extended.
Exactly. And I have a few people who can help lead it. So definitely where everyone take a different week. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let me know if you need me to support that in some way, because I think that would be wonderful. And that way I can actually say to clients, hey, here, I'll see you there.
That's right.
You can,
Good.
yeah, that's part of the help for you as well as them. So.
But yeah, let me know what you need.
Okay.
Well, what final words might you want to give, okay, to everybody who's listening about coming to New Mexico Tech and how we are, I think, very creative and working to be creative at allowing for interaction with people and certainly peer mentor is a part of that, and everything. How supportive we are to people. Anything else you want to mention that comes to mind?
I would say there is so much to do in Socorro. You just have to either ask
Mhm.
and look around because there are quite a few things that one can do in Socorro. Yes, it serves a lot of the outdoor types of individuals, maybe more. However, you can get with groups of people who, if you're into gaming, for instance, I didn't even mention my esports club. My esports club is one of our highly competitive varsity clubs, and there's at least 200 members in our esports club. And sure, we have about 3 competitive teams right now, but then there's recreational, right, members. I mean, really, there is something for everyone to do here in Socorro. It doesn't have to be fitness. It can be casual walking with your friends around this area because it's open space and very close to campus where you can actually go away and not and be with just 1 or 2 people.
Right.
And it's important to do that. Reach out, really, just reach out.
Right.
Ask about anything because there's so many wonderful people here in Socorro and who work at New Mexico Tech who are more than happy to help out in any way. That's why I've worked here for 21 years.
I wasn't going to ask that, but I'm glad you brought that up.
There
Okay.
you go. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why. There is a reason why. So there's a lot to do, and those new students coming in, you'll really enjoy it if you do just get involved. Take that first step.
Mhm.
And again, when you find that you're overwhelmed and you're stuck with ideas, absolutely come here to the counseling department. We can help you brainstorm if you're just needing ideas. We can process if you have something long-term you need to process through. And
Mhm.
we can also help a lot of people with just basic stress relief. What are some basic stress relief? And, you know, a lot of people don't necessarily identify when you ask them, what do you do for stress relief? And then they tell you something and you realize, well, that's not really stress relieving. So let's talk about how we can maybe amend that to really benefit you more. Or let's talk about some other ideas that are really going to benefit you. But, you know, people get really overwhelmed. The academics are intense
Yeah.
and the workload can be intense, and it's okay to get overwhelmed. Most people do. And a lot of people do reach out for support, and we offer what you need. If you just want to come one time and get some ideas, great. If you want to continue and say, hey, that didn't work for me, okay, great. Hey, I want weekly sessions. Okay, we can do that too. But realizing that, you know, and you have to have a really good balance because, yeah, you can go out and do the outdoor things, but you have to focus on the academics. And when that gets stressful, there are people here like the OSL to help you study, you know, the rec department that are really going to help you find ways to kind of maintain that balance in your life and get out there and do things. And then, you know, us offering insight and ideas that maybe you just didn't think of before, and helping you with that stress relief. So please just reach out. We're all here.
I know with our peer mentors, we've taught them to realize that people's emotions are simply what they are, and not to freak out when somebody starts sharing with them, you know, about something that maybe they don't know what, you know, aren't experienced in or whatever, but that they are simply a place where people can express and get something off their chest maybe, or just say, have you ever thought of that? Or those types of things. The other thing I hoped you guys might be able to start sometime would be Tai Chi. You know, I don't know if anybody will do that or not.
Well, Doug, there is a community education Tai Chi class. Doug, I can't remember his last name, but he teaches Tai Chi, and
Cool.
I have to tell you, I've been looking into that, so that will also come in the near future. Yes.
I'm just thinking you could spread out and do that. It's not a big deal for contact, of course, because you don't want contact. You're doing patterning. So, yeah. And and the other thing that the peer mentors and I were talking about is we're looking to see if we can find that piece of material where you can have a movie out on the green again
Oh,
and
nice.
keep people 6 feet apart and all that type of stuff and pull that off. I think we are trying to be creative,
Mhm.
and we're
Yes.
trying to,
Getting there.
you know,
Definitely
get
getting
there and do something. So, and I do think this spring is a whole different feel than, of course, last spring.
Yes,
That's
So,
right.
very
yeah.
much so.
Well, this has been Tech Spotlight, and we're so glad to have had Melissa and Angela with us. They give a lot and provide a lot of pathways for expression, for learning, and for experiencing life here at New Mexico Tech. And we're going to be putting this up on the YouTube channel, and we're going to be putting it up on our Discord channel as well under the Tech Spotlight type of thing. And thank you for taking the time today to chat with us.
Well, thank you for having us. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you so much.
Okay. And everybody who is there listening in, thank you for being here. Okay. We'll
Bye-bye.
talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.